The emerging church, the new St. Saviour's, was further enhanced by the work of the most notable ecclesiastic sculptor of that era, James Pearse, the father, as we all know, of Patriot Patrick and Willie Pearse. As I say, his work here is featured in a series of statues in St. Saviour's, which are situated at the top of the pillars down the central aisle, depicting many of the saintly figures of the Dominican order, including St. Catherine of Siena. James Pearse actually was born in London, in Bloomsbury, in London, in 1838. Now, his people had been Anglican or nonconformists, but he, as a man growing up, was pretty much an agnostic in his youth, and he came from a long tradition of artisan sort of craftsmanship. The family going back to Devon, again associated with such matters. When he was 6 or 7, the family moved to Birmingham, himself and his brothers. And then he moved among the carvers and sculptors of that, and began to engage in the ecclesiastical church building and decoration that had swept through England, driven greatly by another Waterford man, Nicholas Wiseman, who was made cardinal, and other figures. So this way, and Impusion very much involved, and this wave drove itself through England in particular, but Scotland as well. But after that boom, there was a decline, and the surge was building in Ireland. So James Pearse and 4 other families of that craft followed the work to Ireland, where they were in great demand and very much part of that community. So he moved to Dublin with his young wife, Emily Fox, with whom he had 2 children, Mary Emily, after the mother, Emily Fox, and James Vincent. So he then worked with Hardyman and Early in the early days. Then he went into a partnership. Then sadly, his wife, Emily, died aged 30 in 1875. But he remarried the following year in 1877 to Margaret Brady. Now, family began to arrive. He converted to Catholicism. One, it was part of the culture, his wife's religion, and much of his work was in Catholic churches. So all told, and he became a very strongly nationalist. He was more Fenian at the beginning, and espoused many of the causes. When he was a young man, he had gone to night school, to art college himself, and he was self-taught and read widely. So he became quite a literary man. You can see that his son, Patrick, inherited many of his literary skills. Following his marriage to Margaret Brady, he set up his own company the following year in 1878 in Brunswick Street. Brunswick Street today is known as Pearse Street, to mark that event. And there's a plaque up to his sons, Patrick and Willie, there as the place of their birth. And he set up his sculpturing own company there and advertised himself as an ecclesiastic and architectural sculptor. The family quickly came along with Margaret Mary in 78, Patrick Henry, PH, in 79, Willie in 81, and another daughter in 88, Mary Bridget. His business flourished, but sudden death, as we suggested earlier, came calling in 1900, aged just 60, while visiting his brother in Birmingham. Patrick was just 20. I was just 20 at the time. And the last piece on Pearse, an obituary appeared long before his sons were ever known, in the Irish Independent on the 8th of September in 1900. There was also a lengthier one in the Freeman's Journal. The Independent one said, "The death of Mr. James Pearse of Great Brunswick Street, which was announced elsewhere in this edition, will be met with deep regret by a large number of the citizens of Dublin. The deceased gentleman was one of the leading ecclesiastical sculptors in the city, and it may indeed be said to have been the pioneer of modern Gothic art as applied to church work in this country. Almost every important church in Ireland contains in the shape of an altar or figure monuments of his artistic skill. Perhaps outside of churches, perhaps the best work of his chisel is the fine heroic group which crowned the facade of the National Bank in College Green."